Their live video AMA with Crypto.com. I'm your host, Marina Taylor, and today we will be joined by Skirmantas Januskas, the CEO and co-founder of DappRadar. DappRadar is the world's Dapp store. It's the starting point for Dapp discovery, hosting over 9,500 dapps from over 20 protocols. Plus, they offer comprehensive NFT valuation, portfolio management. DappRadar wants to make exploring, tracking, managing dapps insightful, convenient, and rewarding for all. So let's welcome CEO and co-founder Skirmantas. Hello.
Hey guys. Thanks,
How's
Marina.
it going?
Great. Looking forward to talking to you and answering all the questions.
Yes, we've got a ton of questions lined up. As always, thank you to our community for submitting the questions earlier this week. I'd say let's just get right into it. You ready?
Let's go.
All right. Well, can you please start us off with a quick self-introduction?
Yeah, sure. As you already know, I'm Skirmantas Januskas, co-founder and CEO of DappRadar. I started my career as a software developer and had a successful pet projects, and eventually I found crypto. And I kind of loved it from the first sight. And being a technical person, I looked at smart contracts and it was like, wow, it made me aware of future possibilities. And I kind of didn't look back since then. So that's where I stay now.
Have you always been a lover of data?
As far as I can remember, yes.
Okay. So can you tell us what inspired starting up DappRadar?
Well, as I say, all the good businesses, they start from a problem. So there was one simple problem. I couldn't find a way to discover dapps. And when it comes to 4 years ago, so that was beginning of 2018, end of 2017, that's the time when CryptoKitties went through the roof for the first time. So many of you might remember that. And to me, it was clear that something was brewing there, not just with CryptoKitties, but like in general in Dapp space. And me and my co-founder, we started looking for those dapps. How do we find them? And it was really, really bad back in the days. It was just kind of looking at Discord, Telegram, Twitter, who is sharing something, but there was no place to actually kind of go and find all the dapps. And so we understood that data is on the blockchain, that data is public. Hey, let's do something about it. We can grab this data and use that to display to users. So literally just one weekend, Friday to Sunday, we sat down and then here we go. DappRadar version 1 was born. I think we shared it on Reddit, and then we got a few thousand users overnight, a ton of great feedback, like, yes, this is what we needed so far and so on. And on Monday we said, yeah, we quit our jobs and we start working on DappRadar. So that's the little backstory.
Wow, a life-changing weekend.
Indeed.
How has it evolved then over the last 4 years?
Oh yeah, usually when people tell these stories, they're like, yeah, we had this big vision and so on. No, we didn't have it back then. So it started just as a weekend project, but eventually it evolved into something much, much more than that. So we just started as a rankings website, and since then it evolved quite a bit. Yeah. So now, as you said, Marina, in the beginning, we're offering, not just general Dapp rankings, but also extensive NFT rankings, DeFi rankings. We introduced Portfolio, a portfolio tracker that tracks your tokens, your DeFi investments, what kind of NFTs you're holding. And we're even estimating those prices for many collections now. So if you want to know what kind of assets you're holding, what's the worth of them, go to DappRadar Portfolio. And finally, our blog. So that's a really great resource for readers of any level. If you're a beginner or intermediate, just go there. There's a ton of content that our experts are writing. And we're getting really good feedback about that. Not even saying about quarterly and monthly and yearly reports that we do. So DappRadar really evolves together with the industry. We always said, no matter which vertical pops up, no matter which blockchain pops up, if it gets significant traction, it will be visible at DappRadar.
Right. Amazing. So we actually have a question from a member on Twitter about crypto beginners. So they wanted to ask at Musa Ansal, is your platform suitable for crypto beginners?
Yeah, that's something that we've been thinking about a lot since, probably not since day one, but since day two. like, we ourselves found this space very challenging for newcomers, like to understand what dapps are, what smart contracts are, and so on. And when doing this, when coding this platform, when building it, when it's evolving, we're always thinking of how do we make it easy for newcomers, especially last year when we saw lots of people coming to this space because of NFTs. And you can use the platform, and if something's unclear, we're putting lots of effort into our blog. So kind of writing articles, how to install MetaMask, how to install different wallets on different blockchains, what are NFTs, what is DeFi, how to use this and that. So yeah, putting really lots of effort in that kind of new beginner onboarding. And if we're successful, you guys, newcomers, tell us. If you don't find something, jump on our Discord, Telegram, let us know. We're always here to make newcomers feel welcome.
And I was looking at some of your guys' charts of growth, and in the last year, it seems like the growth has just really taken off.
Yeah, when it comes to DappRadar, we did a 10x last year.
Wow.
In numbers. I think the industry itself did something similar. So yeah, that's exciting.
Definitely. So what about for people who want to develop dapps? We have a question from another community member on Twitter. Can I develop a dapp on DappRadar? What are the requirements and how should I apply for it?
Yes, so you develop a dapp on your own. We have some articles and some kind of resources to help you with that. You just go to dappradar.com/developers and you get some information. We can even get help for you to kind of get to various different blockchains, get contacts, and kind of participate in some grant programs and bounties and so on. When it comes to listing your dapp on DappRadar, that's completely free. So people sometimes ask this question because they are used to app stores and so on, which is kind of paid listings. That's not the case on DappRadar. So you just go to dappradar.com/developers, submit your dapp. That's free. It gets approved, and you're visible on DappRadar and enjoy the traffic.
Wow, it seems really, really easy. You mentioned traditional app stores. I think everybody can relate. We all interact with Apple App Store or Google Play Store. Can you tell us a little bit about how the Dapp Store is similar and is different from our traditional app stores?
Yeah, I think the similarity is, the similarity is in the name, App Store and App Store. But besides that, there are, quite a few differences. And in fact, the further we'll go, the more differences there's going to be. So I have 3 points. And so first of all, dapps require a different discovery process. And you're not just looking at nice titles and screenshots when it comes to dapps. You're looking at data behind it. Is this dapp popular? Is it profitable? Is it growing? So therefore, it's very important to combine nice looking screenshots with most important data points and guide users through this journey. That's the first one. Second, as I already said, there are no massive fees behind the Dapp store. We don't take 30% of your dapp's revenue, and we never will. And third, that's about decentralization. So we envision that the world's Dapp store is going to be owned and driven by the community. Eventually, millions of contributors will curate and moderate content of DappRadar. And thousands of integrations is going to be done by community developers. So contributors will get rewarded for their contributions. And that's nothing that's happen on app stores. So that's one of the main differences here. And you might have heard about play to earn. Especially last year, X Infinity and the rest of the games, play to earn was wild. And World's Dapp Store, DappRadar, is going to introduce contribute to earn. So that's how we accept input from all the community, and this is how the quality of the platform goes up, usability, and then contributors get rewarded. So you will literally be able to work at DappRadar, make living, and everyone is happy.
Wow. Is contribute to earn something available now, or is that coming soon?
Well, currently it's available at a sort of voluntarily basis. So if you want to provide your input or participate, do integrations by code, that's already available. But now we're working on a full-fledged system where rewards and so on, they're automated, and we're trying to put ourselves, like as a company, to put ourselves aside and let the community decide what should be visible on DappRadar, what should not be visible. We don't want to be the ultimate centralized gatekeeper of the ecosystem. That's definitely not the goal. It's about empowering community to say what's important, what's not important, what should be allowed and what shouldn't be.
I see. So in that future vision, I believe your team now is global, around like 55 people. Do you imagine that number to grow or for you guys to kind of stay at that level? How do you guys remain decentralized
Yeah,
or move towards decentralization?
the team is highly decentralized already. We have the headquarters here in Lithuania, but we only have about 30 to 40% of people here, and the number keeps getting lower and lower. The rest of the company, the rest of the employees are anywhere in the world. We're super happy about it because it goes well with the whole decentralized kind of narrative and so on. And thinking of the company and then the employee count growth, I envision we'll keep growing for a while. Probably for the next few years, the company size will keep growing, but then we'll reach a point where there will be more contributors than to cover what we're already doing, and then we might be able to lower down the employee count because eventually those employees might be just working for a DAO as contributors. So we don't need kind of agreements and so on. Anyone can just come on board and start working at DappRadar. So that's how I see it.
So I'm going to jump over here. You mentioned DAOs. I'd love to get into it. How does one become a part of the DAO?
Well, that's pretty simple. Technically, by even holding one radar token, you can participate in a DAO. You can vote. You can vote on proposals. Though I would say if you want to really participate in that, you should be also a pro member, and we can talk about that later as well. That's like owning at least 5,000 radar tokens currently, and then you get access to some Discord channels where we discuss a lot about different proposals, about different features that should be integrated, should be done, and so on. So technically, one radar token is enough, but if you really want to be a proper DAO member, you should own a bit more so that you can participate in those channels as well.
Got it. That was on my list of questions about DappRadar Pro. Maybe we're on the topic. We can talk about it now. How exactly does DappRadar Pro work? You mentioned Discord servers as one of the perks. Can you get into it a little bit more?
Yeah, I'll actually start about the whole utility part so that
Okay.
listeners
Yes.
get more information about this. So currently, there are three main use cases for radar token. And first one, yes, is getting access to DappRadar Pro. Second is staking with rewards. And the third one is governance. And obviously, the fourth one is going to be contribute to earn and the whole platform, which we're currently working on. But let's focus on DappRadar Pro. And DappRadar Pro is our friends club. So if you're pro, you get access to various on-site features and some alpha on our Discord server. And a few of them would be, you get exclusive research and analysis by our team. You get early access or only access for DappRadar Pro. You get enhanced data. So on DappRadar.com, you can view NFT sales data, for example, for the last 15 or 30 minutes. And you can use our custom filters to better understand the market you're in and probably make informed investment decisions. And then on Discord, you receive alerts when, for example, when new dapps are published, when there are some big NFT sales, new NFT collections appear. So all of this, well, it's just really the beginning. We're working on providing much more for pro friends, like P&L data, ability to download rankings data, and much more. So again, Pro is here. It gets developed even further. But again, the big plan is contribute to earn, which is going to be massive.
Exciting. Okay, I'm going to jump over to a different topic. This was a common question that we had. I'm sharing a question here from Twitter user. I'm not going to try to say it, but they're asking, are there any plans to integrate Kronos on DappRadar or to also show data from Kronos?
Yes, so I can give it away. We were already working on an integration for Kronos, and fingers crossed it might even happen this month.
Wow, that is exciting. Amazing news for everyone watching. Very cool. Okay, moving on. I have another question. We were talking about NFTs just a moment ago. We have a person on Twitter who's asking, how do you determine the asset strength of an NFT?
Yeah, this is something we're quite happy about having that on our page because this is, when you asked initially about beginners, and that's something that would be, could be not that relevant for beginners because they're not aware of, they just think, okay, NFTs, they stay on the blockchain, everything's fine. Well, that's not really the case in all the NFTs. And we introduced this asset strength. And basically that score sort of tells you how time resistant an NFT is. As an example, if an image of the NFT is stored on a centralized server, like AWS or Google Cloud or whatever it is, we put the asset strength lower because if the server goes down or if you stop paying for those servers, NFT has no image anymore. So what are you actually owning? And vice versa, if an image is stored on IPFS, for example, or some other decentralized storage place, then asset strength is higher because there is nobody who can take it away technically. So, and then we look into where the actual metadata is stored, like some attributes, parameters of that NFT, like CryptoPunk attributes and so on. Are they on-chain or off-chain? On-chain means they are stored in a smart contract. They're kind of set in stone there. Nothing can change that. Versus off-chain. So again, if it's off-chain, if it's just on some API, it can disappear anytime. If it's on-chain, it's permanent. But there is one last thing, and that can pretty much kill the first 2 points. It's the smart contract code. Like, is it verified or not? Say, most usual cases, like you go to Etherscan and you look at if that smart contract code is verified. It's just kind of, if we know the code of the smart contract, we can know if something can be changed for that NFT or not. Technically, if the code is not public, the developer could have just had some function in there that says rewrite metadata or change the image and so on. Basically, they could rug pull you. So we're using all these 3 elements. Looking at NFT image, is it on-chain, off-chain, metadata, on-chain, off-chain, and then if smart contract is kind of code is public or not. And based on that, we judge how strong the asset is. I think one of the strongest NFTs out there when we talk about this type of strength is Avastars, when they have all the attributes, all the metadata on-chain, and literally anything can happen to the world, but as long as Ethereum is running, you will be able to generate your Avastar on a browser.
Wow, that's very interesting. Not all NFTs are built the same, obviously. Wow, that's really cool that you guys have a tool that people are able to easily see, because for beginners, you're right, that is beyond their scope of understanding. So really nice that there's a tool like that available for them. I want to talk about another product that you guys offer, which is Token Swap on DappRadar. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so for Token Swap, first of all, we're using 0x protocol to power our Token Swap. So thanks for these guys for building such a great platform, a great infrastructure. Our selling point there is, usually it's kind of easy to do a token swap for big tokens, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and all these ERC20s, because all the prices are available. It's easy to get information. When it comes to listing thousands of dapps, often these dapps have tokens that are rather smaller. They have smaller liquidity, smaller volumes, and they're often not listed on sites like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, and so on. And not even talking about decentralized and kind of centralized exchanges. So what we do, especially for Binance Smart Chain and Polygon chains like this, we're aggregating lots of those smaller tokens. And so if you're using a Dapp that just launched a week ago or so, most likely if you go to our Token Swap, first of all, you'll find the price of it. You'll find the price history, so you can look at what's the value, and then you can also swap it. So I'm kind of it's about those enabling all the Dapp users to swap the tokens that they already have because they're using dapps. So that would be our our strength here.
Got it. Yeah, it sounds much more convenient. Okay, moving on. We've got another question from a community member about privacy and information. So his question is, let me read the whole thing. DappRadar brings high quality and accurate insights into decentralized applications to a global audience and is quickly becoming a trusted industry resource. My question is, where's the information collected from? Has all the information been reviewed by the DappRadar team?
Yeah, so there are 2 parts of information that we collect and provide. So first of one is manually submitted or collected information. So like Dapp titles, descriptions, images, smart contract addresses, and so on. All that kind of text information. And second is the data that's coming from the blockchain. So kind of raw numbers. Beginning with the first one. So we do our best to review all the dapps that are submitted. We have a manual review process. We're looking at smart contracts. We're looking at if the links are working, if the information you provided is, looks legit. And we only approve dapps that actually look legit. However, we cannot guarantee that a dapp is fully safe to use. So please do your own research. Sometimes the dapp smart contract code is not verified, and there is nothing we can do to really check if that is if there are nothing hidden. So again, do your own research. The rest of the data, when it comes to numbers and statistics, that's coming from the blockchain. And we currently have more than 200 terabytes of data that's coming from more than 30 blockchains that we have integrated. So then our machines are crunching this data, calculating dapp statistics, and providing that information to users. And as much as we can, we're trying to avoid using some APIs to get the data, something that that could be interfered with, that could be changed, in the process. We're trying to get and collect all the data from the blockchains directly, so that it's raw data, and then we crunch it. And then a combination of manually submitted information and blockchain data is this engine that we're running on. And as I was explaining earlier, contribute to earn will just strengthen this engine exponentially.
Okay, moving on. So continuing on this, I think security right now is a hot topic in the industry. From Twitter, @Tonhom asks, what about the security and privacy of your technology, maybe specifically for the users?
Yeah, so we are in a sort of a unique position in this industry, I would say, because we're a gateway between the centralized world and decentralized world. We ourselves, we don't have that many sort of interacting with the blockchain features. We have some token swapping, but we're using 0x protocol. And we also have some NFT buying and selling capabilities, thanks to OpenSea as well. So when it comes to those, security and privacy, we're relying heavily on trusted third parties. But as we're going towards, we'll have many more features when it comes to actually interacting with the blockchain, interacting with dapps right at DappRadar, so you don't need to leave the platform. We'll definitely look into how to make that as secure as possible. And till that happens, we're using sort of good old techniques and practices to protect our users and save their data.
Got it. You mentioned earlier bounties, and kind of continuing our conversation here, someone on Twitter is a white hat hacker. And they ask, as a white hat hacker, I'm really interested in testing out your platform for bugs, if I can find any. Does Radar have a bug bounty program at this time?
To this person, I can ask one thing. Please come to our Discord. And let's have these discussions. That's something that we currently don't have, such a program, but we're definitely looking into one, because that becomes kind of more and more important as we grow, and as we're evolving into a DAO. We can very much so talk about that and issue a proposal. That we have bounties and grants for white hackers. So why don't you be the first one here and lead the way? Come on board.
All right. Yeah. Invitation to the Discord. Okay, continuing on, we're getting kind of into more future forward-looking type questions. We have a user community question. Will DappRadar host more VR events, concerts in the future?
Yes. That was amazing. Everyone who participated in those events, those VR events, said they never experienced anything close to that. We had concerts and concert prior to the event, then announcement, then a concert again, kind of clubbing, dancing. That's something, that was really nuts, I'd say. And we definitely have plans to continue that. As a matter of fact, we even had a company meeting, kind of all hands company meeting in Somnium Space. So that was really different experience. The next level is that we just got to ensure that more people in the industry, well, worldwide, get VR headsets. That's something where the industry still needs to get going, because we can do it in VR, but if people are looking at it in kind of on some stream or just on their PC, it's not the same. So it's fun for us, but it's hard to bring that fun to others who are just looking on screen. So if you guys want to experience that, get a VR headset. It's really worth it.
And for those who maybe missed out on the event or aren't sure what you're talking about, can you briefly explain like one of the VR events that you guys recently held?
Well, we had our couple of events in December. Well, in November and December, it was about introducing Radar token and overall the Dapp Store vision and what we're going to do. So you can. It feels like a real conference, and kind of especially after how many 2 years now in the lockdown and with this COVID situation. Without conferences, if you're just presenting across the screen, it's like, one way, it's one effect. But when you're inside that, with VR headset presenting and everyone is like there, it feels like a real conference. It feels like people are around you, they hear you, you talk to them. I don't want to say it replaces that kind of real world experience, but it's really close to that.
Wow, that must have been really fun for you too, to be able to speak to everybody. Yeah, definitely we'll check out the next one coming up. Okay, moving on. This is kind of changing topics here. A community member on Twitter asked, what is your view and positioning regarding environmental crypto projects? The environment and crypto is often talked about together.
Yeah, and I think I'll just start with NFTs, kind of as a whole, and I see lots of discussions happening about environmental damage and so on. I think every new big thing requires some transition time, and at least initially it can be sort of damaging a bit in a way, if you want to say that. Yeah, there is some cost, but eventually I see that blockchains are evolving and so on, and the costs are getting lower. So I don't think that's going to be a big problem, though. I remember even 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when we just started, there were already some discussions happening and actual projects happening to, for example, help to bring solar power to African villages by using blockchain and so on. I don't have specific kind of names of projects and specific examples now, but it's like I feel that blockchain can actually do a lot there, especially in developing countries where something's not available here. It's very easy for us, I don't know, in US, in Europe, and so on, to kind of laugh about things like environmental damage and so on. But when it comes to especially developing countries, blockchain can offer a lot. When there is when people don't trust government, when people don't trust each other, blockchain can help solve that. And it's not about just environmental things, but in general, I think it's a big asset, and we often undervalue it. Marina, you're muted, I think.
Yes, thank you so much, Skirmantas. I want to ask a question here from a community member on Twitter about mass adoption. So they ask, what are the future plans for mass adoption? That's kind of a big question, but hoping you can share your point of view.
Yeah, we were looking at that since day two. Like, hey, so when is that going to happen? And I remember probably 3 months after DappRadar was launched, in one of the very first crypto game conferences in San Francisco, Ready Player One was just launched, and everyone were like, wow, that's the next thing, that's the mass adoption that we'll get to. I still think Ready Player One is cool, and we'll get there. I kind of want to see that world as well. But in a way, I don't have any doubt that mass adoption will happen. I'm fully confident it will happen. The question is when. And what we see now is that we're kind of moving in the same path as the internet was going, 20 years ago. So 5, 10, 20 years, you choose, but I have no doubt that it will happen. And it goes well with the vision that we have for DappRadar, for Contribute to Earn. 5, 10, 20 years, we're here to stay. And when I say we, it's like the industry, all of us. Because when it comes to this industry, there is no I, and there is no mine. It's like ours.
Totally. The collective, there's no stopping us for sure. The momentum is undeniable. Now we're talking about long-term mission, but we had a community member who asked a question about short-term objectives. So their question is, many projects like to speak about the long-term vision and mission, but what are your short-term objectives? What are you focusing on right now?
Yeah, so right now the big focus is obviously on making sure that we have all the major blockchains and protocols and applications integrated and up on DappRadar. I mean, that was always one of our main priorities. But now when we talk about something new, it's obviously the contribute to earn part that I was talking about. And that's yeah, it's still hard to express how big it's going to be. But think of something, again, when we talk about app stores, when we talk about the way world works now, anything can be censored, anything, they can ask money, and if you don't do that, if you don't apply to their rules, they can kind of just kick you off. And we don't see it this way. We really see ourselves kind of stepping aside when DappRadar as a company stepping aside and letting community decide. So that's the focus. Obviously, yes, it's long term, but the short term thing is to kick off this contribute to earn, to make people contribute, to allow them to decide what they want to do, and then even thinking of smaller communities. Kind of there are different dapps like X Infinity and other dapps. They have these dapp pages on DappRadar. Why don't we make those pages as different communities, sort of like subreddits on Reddit? And then you have full control over what's happening there. Your community decides, and you're getting a portion of probably DappRadar's revenues. So this is the thinking that we're going. And yes, it's also long term, but we're kicking it off ASAP, and that's the plan for this year. We have to kick it off.
That sounds really exciting. Yeah, communities on DappRadar sounds very exciting. What are some new Dapp verticals that you predict we'll start seeing take off in the next few years?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think let's begin with not new ones, but rather existing ones, but those that will take off. And I really believe that games will be one of those. What I hear, what we hear being here, so many games are getting funded kind of last year, this year, and it's just, I have no doubt that games will explode. I'm not sure if this year exactly, but if not this year, then later on. And the thing is, yeah, the development activities is very high when it comes to games. We'll see if those games will be quality enough to attract the masses. But if they will, then there is, if we have AAA games, AAA games coming to the blockchain, well, that they have NFTs, I have no doubts that games industry will explode this year. And then when we talk about other verticals, well, that's difficult. But I was always looking for, to see something like energy or health sector to come to the blockchain at high scale. That's something when we could say, it's not just fun, it's not just for making money. It actually helps saving lives. It actually helps, providing better life for other people. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Definitely. Yeah. Me as well. Okay, another question. We're getting down here to the last few questions from a Twitter user, Edward Shapiro. He asks, if you had a chance to redo one thing on your project, what is it?
I kind of keep repeating myself here, but in a way, I think launching contribute to earn sooner. And it's kind of, we knew from, probably from day two, we knew that the scale that we will reach, and if we talk app store scale, millions and billions of users, it's going to be impossible for kind of one company to just catch up and keep doing all the integrations, having all the information and so on. And I kind of wish that we understood this much better earlier. But it's like, people in this industry are very collaborative, and I wish we started doing that earlier, but there is no look back. So we just keep looking ahead, keep pushing for the next big thing, and that's it.
Yes, love that attitude. Speaking of growing the community, a user on Twitter was asking, how can we work with your team?
Yeah, easy, very easy. So there are two ways. As we are progressing from the centralized company to a DAO, there are two ways how to work here. So first way is like the good old way. You can just go to dappradar.com/careers, and you'll find, I think we have over 10 open positions right now, developers, non-developers, many positions. So that's one way to just come on board and work with us. And the second way is to participate in the DAO. So if you own some tokens, or even if you don't, just come on board, Discord, Telegram, push your ideas, tell us, what we should do, what we should kind of features we should build, what do you wish to see, what kind of research you've done, and you think this is really good. So either come work with us at DappRadar, or go to Discord, Telegram, work at DappRadar DAO. So there are many ways how to do that.
Great. Thank you so much. Definitely those of you who are watching who are interested, check that out. We have reached the end of our questions, Skirmantas. Thank you so much for your answers. Is there anything else you want to tease, hint at, or share with us?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Marina. I'll just say, look, guys, it's not about any one of us. It's about all of us. And I really think that this industry can only grow further if we keep going in the right direction. And that means being sort of friendly, being humans, including everybody. Everyone deserves a place here. And no matter if you're an expert or a beginner, just be open, be friendly. And that's the kind of type of people we welcome at DappRadar. Basically, everybody who is open to others. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you again. And for those watching, you can follow Skirmantas on Twitter at @Januskas. You can follow DappRadar at DappRadar on Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Reddit, and Telegram. Make sure you're following us, Crypto.com, to stay informed about our upcoming events and announcements. Follow us on Twitter, Telegram, all the places, and here on YouTube, of course, where you can watch this video after the live stream ends. Thank you again.